People often have a difficulty when they read the Bible, particularly the first part of the Bible, the Old Testament, because they read about all the wars. And they say, well, how can all these wars be good? How can a loving God allow all this? What we've got to distinguish is two sorts of war in the Old Testament. There's one sort which is simply reported. It's not saying this is a good thing. On the other hand, we also have some wars in which Israel was involved, which are said to be good things. And in some cases, even that God commands certain wars. People have a difficulty with that, but what we've got to remember is that the Bible, when it describes God as commanding particular wars and even his people to go in and destroy whole nations, is doing something very, very different from the parallels people draw today. Sometimes people compare it to genocide in Rwanda or massacres that go on indiscriminately. And when we read the biblical text, we'll see some very different things going on. We'll see, for instance, that the person who's commanding these things is not commanding them through some intuition or feeling that people get. In fact, these things are very publicly commanded with many displays of miracles to authenticate them. We can also say that the person who commands these things is the person who gave all life. And that's a very distinctive thing because, of course, for the person who's given life to take life away is very different from for anyone else to do it. And we can also say it's commanded by someone who knows the future exhaustively. There are all sorts of things which would be irresponsible to do normally, but if you knew the future, and it might be responsible for you to do. I don't gamble. I think gambling's a bad idea. On the other hand, if I always knew what the result would be, gambling could suddenly become morally responsible. And there are things which for God, with all his power and all of his knowledge, there can be things that it's all right for him to do, that it's not right for anyone else to do. And it's important to understand that the Bible is really talking about unique circumstances, not things we can copy today. There's no nation in the same position that Israel was in having God communicate to it like that, or even act through it as a judge on other nations. So I think that when we read the Bible, it's important to read all of it and realize just how unique what's going on there is, and how this doesn't give any precedent that wars can be commanded by God today.